Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome back to another episode of The Ways We Move, the podcast where we highlight innovative mobility solutions and the people behind them. And so today, no, we're not going to have another special guest or anyone that I know in the industry. In fact, you are stuck with me, and we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to talk about something that, a lot of us actually in the industry have seen for the past 2, 3 years. And this is something that happens very often with a lot of disruptive technologies and companies when they come on the market. Is after a while you have a lot of excitement. You might also have a lot of hype, and all of a sudden you have a lot of events. And we are all going through this thing called event burnout. We started feeling it about 2 years ago, and it got really bad last year. And this year, hard to make events go and happen around the world. So what we did actually 2 years ago is I was talking to people you have seen actually on this podcast, Rex Alexander, Clint Harper, a bunch of other people, Don Birchoff, and lots of good friends and colleagues in the industry about what should we do, because I don't want to go to another event. I keep on seeing the same people saying the same things, and we're still waiting for things to happen. So it's not really that interesting. And the more we thought about it, the more we realized that some training events were going on, but we looked at the substance of these events, and let's just say that we weren't one. Most of these events were held by people who were really good at ChatGPT and just turned around and said exactly what they had seen from their AI bots. And so I remember talking to specifically Clinton Rex and said, we really need to do our own educational advanced air mobility event. And so about a year or so later, I meet Nadia Pak, Rose Solovoka, who actually were part of another event makers, and they were thinking the same thing. So we all got together and we created what you can see behind us is the AAM Masterclass. And the kickoff is in about a month and a half. It will be in Rome. So in this podcast, I wanted to explain basically what we came up with, what was the whole idea, and a little bit about the background. We wanted to offer something of substance and something from real stakeholders and people who really do have a long history in aviation and anything that goes around it and have embraced advanced air mobility a long time ago. And you'll notice that the people who we have on the course are people who've been around for a long time. I'm not talking about 2, 3 years. I'm talking about 10 years and much more. So the idea came to basically help the ones who probably need the most help when it comes to advanced air mobility. Not that they are clueless, but because they do something else and they sort of have to think about it. And those are our airport friends, basically. So we catered, we centered, we focused this whole training session to be for airport executives. And maybe I should back up even a little bit more to say that in a previous life, when I had hair, I was a teacher and a trainer. So I've taught adults all over the world, mostly in languages and computer science. At the time, we called it computer science or IT. And so I wanted to be able to do the same thing. And what I did was I came out with a curriculum. And the curriculum is very practical. It's for airport executives, and it's to help them understand what advanced air mobility is and how to prepare for it. And I sort of divided it into 1, 2, 3 steps kind of thing. The very first step is the theoretical. This is the research, the data that we have around what we call conventional aviation. So think of airports, heliports, airplanes, helicopters, right? And then we have the introduction into, what are those electric aircraft? What are eVTOLs, eSTOLs, eCTOLs, drones? And, how are we going to work with all of this to share the same airspace, but also the energy? They're going to be electric. What kind of energy do we need to do? Can utilities provide us with the energy? And do they have what it takes to transmit that energy? And spoiler alert, no, neither can we do that in the US or in Europe. And for the most part, Asia cannot do it either. So what I did is the first module of this is a 2-day event, by the way, that will be in Rome at the International Airport of Rome. And our host is Urban V, graciously accepted to host us on our very first kickoff. And it will be a 2-day event. It will start on September the 23rd, and it will end on the 24th in the afternoon. And on the 25th, there's a walk around to see what the airport and Urban V have already done so far. So the way I structured the curriculum with my good friends, actually Professor Marilyn Smith, who you've seen here before from Georgia Tech. Oh, I love Marilyn. Clint Harper, who is somebody who has run airports, military airports, and who is an urban planner, and who's also a dear friend of mine. And of course, Mr. Infrastructure himself, Rex Alexander, another dear friend and colleague of mine, both of which, by the way, I've known for many years. Marilyn a little bit less, but boy, she's my kindred spirit sister here. And so what I did was I asked them to take the lead on this whole curriculum, and we've invited other people to join and articulate these modules. So like I said, we start with a very theoretical introduction to advanced air mobility, the data, the analysis, and we have Professor Marilyn Smith, and also Professor Adam Cohen from a great university. I don't know if we can say it, UC Berkeley. You didn't hear it from me. Who will be helping us on the data, on the research side of things. They're not representing their universities, by the way. They're here because they're dear friends and colleagues of ours. And then we have Clint Harper and Rex Alexander to help us really show and articulate all of that. And by the way, yes, now I can say, because he actually said yes, is Curtis Grad from Modalis, who's a dear, dear friend of ours and somebody I just love because of his no-nonsense, practical approach to advanced air mobility, somebody who has a very rich background when it comes to advanced air mobility. He will be there too to sort of give us the more practical aspect of it. We've invited the unbeatable Sergio Cicuta, who leads the whole SMG consulting, who will tell us a little bit about the implications of all of that. So specifically, and I guess probably right now would be a good time to look at the curriculum. Specifically, what we've done is this very first theoretical leads to the practical side of it. So let's say that now I'm going to be doing the very first module. It's going to be about, the industry, where we came from, where we are today, and why we have that. And then Adam and Marilyn will also talk about the research done. Marilyn is an expert in outwash, downwash, all of that kind of stuff. Also repairs on carbon fiber, thermoplastics, and things like that. So what does it mean to have all of these things? What is an advanced air mobility MRO? And we have a lot of great solutions to that. But Clint and Rex are going to step into the more practical aspects of that. What does it mean? What needs to happen, and what have they done, seen, and talked about with regulatory bodies from all over the world? And after that, since you've gone through the theoretical, the practical, well, now comes the workshop side of things. So we'll have a few workshops for attendees to develop what they have locally to make sure that it is a fertile ground for advanced air mobility. And we'll also hear from other speakers to tell us a little bit more about what they've done in their particular case. So one thing I can tell you is Urban V is going to talk about what they've done out there in Rome, and we'll hear from plenty of others. And so far, I have to tell you, the response has been absolutely amazing. We have about 30 airports who have said, yes, we're coming, and we're coming with more than one person. So there's going to be a lot of people coming in from airports, which is obviously what we wanted to do. But we've also invited companies working with airports, companies helping airports be airports. And with that, we have another 20 different companies that have said yes, by the way, including eVTOL companies, hopefully eSTOL companies, and all of that. So I wanted to ask you to go and visit the website, and it's very easy. The website is spelled AAMASTERClass.com, AAMmasterclass.com. Very simple. But beware, the curriculum that we have on the website is not the one that we will use. Needless to say that this is not the curriculum we're using, copied by many, but will never be replaced, because we have the real curriculum that actually fits in a 2-day format, and we will be launching that September 23rd and the 24th. We hope you will go and visit the website. We hope you will ask us questions if you don't understand anything specifically about this very special course that we're giving. We can tell you that most likely the second one, they will all be international big airports, all right? So the next one, we're hesitating between a very, very famous central big international airport in Europe or one right here in the United States. And of course, we'll have them all over the world as time goes by. I mean, New Delhi, Osaka, or Tokyo would be on our list or are on our list. So I hope I've enticed you. I hope I've intrigued or piqued your curiosity to look into the AAMmasterclass.com website where you can find out much more about that. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. You can just put in AAM Masterclass, and of course, Nadia Rose or myself will show up. Ask us questions. We're excited about launching this. You know, we're a little anticipating, to say the right word. We're excited. It's exhilarating launching something else, but it's also an answer because I think a lot of us have that event burnout and we want those events to still be good. So I think by giving you an opportunity to learn from, the top people in the industry, those who are internationally recognized, not just those who talk, but those who actually have done something, have the background to prove it, you will see it right then and there. We want to give airports and especially officials, executives, an understanding of what advanced air mobility, and mostly to walk away understanding that planning today is pennies on the dollars, cents on the euros, instead of doing it tomorrow, which is going to be way more expensive, double, triple digits on the dollar or the euro. And also that, there are a few considerations you need to have. You need to just understand all of that good stuff. It's pretty simple, but it does take a lot of us to put it all together into a cohesive and holistic, harmonious image of what we need to plan. This event will grow. This event will become, like I said, semi-annual. So we would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. We would love to see you in Rome at the end of September on the 23rd and the 24th. And of course, we'll have a walk around on the 25th. And we certainly look forward to any questions you might have about this amazing event. In the meantime, thank you for watching this. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. And if you know anyone who works at an airport, has been looking into to these kind of questions, what is advanced air mobility? What are flying cars? And what do they mean by air taxis? We are the people who can answer all of these questions, from very theoretical 52,000 feet to right down here at the ground level. And also, if you are an airport and you're interested and you want to find out, we're all ears. We're ready to talk to you. We are also looking for other airports to host our events, and we're really excited because we're off to a very good start. Thank you for watching this, and stay tuned because I'm going to try to do a French version of this video. We'll see you next week. Same channel, same bat time, and with another guest. Thank you.